Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2, a weekly podcast about people who work together as a couple. Learn the secrets of business partnerships, the benefits and pitfalls of working together. Be it husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, friends, relatives or any other combination of business partnerships.
We are your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. And together we are In Business.
As well as speaking with other couples, we'll let you know of any useful business apps and websites out there that our members have come across and shared with us in our regular weekly online meetings.
Plus we'll tell you about our special bonus episode coming up this Friday. It's called our Friday Fix. So be sure to listen all the way through to the end to find out more.
So without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Talks 2. Welcome to Perrin and Lincoln of Roth Read Photography. It's good to have you with us today and have a chat with us. We appreciate you coming along.
Nice to see you guys.
Yeah,
it's good to be here. Thank you. Yeah, love to see you both.
Before we get started, tell us a bit about what you do.
So we're portrait and commercial photographers, and we're based just outside Leeds, and we work with both personal clients and business clients. And for our personal clients, we like to try and design something a little bit different for them, get them out of the studio if we can, and create some big shots in some great locations, create those big pictures for them. And for our commercial clients, it's all about trying to encourage them to drop the stock photography and have something that's more about them and their business that their clients or consumers can really connect to, something more authentic.
Yeah. I think it's all about personal brand, isn't it? And being true to yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I've heard a lot of that recently.
Yeah.
So how long have you two guys been in business together?
4.5 years now.
Yes.
Yeah, 4.5 years.
What made you want to be in business together?
I think it was a lot of little things happened throughout our lives, and wishing friends good luck on their new journeys and they're starting their new businesses. And then one day I suddenly thought, why aren't we doing what we want to do? Why are we still sat in the office tippy-tapping on a keyboard for somebody else? I broached the subject to Perrin.
I panicked a little bit.
Tesco's
car park.
Yeah. I mean, you had your mind focused on other things.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in our lives, but I wanted to, it was still going to be going on in our lives, whether we did the business or whether we did carry on going back to work. So I steamed ahead with gusto and set up the business, and then Perrin jumped on board.
Yeah, I mean, you've obviously done photography for a while, but a long time perhaps, but
yeah,
it wasn't your job.
No,
you sort of moved out from the corporate world, did you?
Yeah, we both worked at the NHS contracting. We'd done many things in life other than photography, which was just a hobby for both of us, really.
Right.
And then when it came to being in business, we suddenly started a business, and then I didn't have a clue what to do.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's fair for most people. Yeah,
I think it is. You're good at what you do, but running a business is a totally different ballgame.
Yeah.
And so do you have different roles within the business?
Yeah, we do. I think so. I'm more connected to the words, so I do all the writing, and Lincoln is connected to the numbers. So, and that works really well. So Lincoln figures out pricing, he figures out print sizes, he creates the books that we do, anything like that. He does all our accounts and finances. So all that side is Lincoln's. He loves a spreadsheet, a little bit like Rain Man, gotta say. And whereas I'm more the words. So I like that we write articles for magazines, we have a column and blogging and networking and all that type of thing is my side.
And do you both do the photography then?
Both.
Yeah, we both do. Yeah.
We both had a love of photography before we met. So over all the years, we'd both been had it as a hobby. And then like Lincoln said, he just came up with this idea and we jumped in. So we just discovered life is too short.
Yeah, true. Definitely. I think a lot of people get to that stage in their life where they think, hang on a minute, why am I doing this for somebody else, or why am I working for somebody else? And
that's true.
Go out and branch
especially
out.
People, I think, in the corporate world as well. It's surprising how many businesses we know where people have got to 40s, 50s and suddenly decided, oh, do you know what? I'm fed up of doing this. I want to do something myself now. Lots of people in our group are, people who think, let's do something else. Let's have a change.
Yeah.
So I think
in Perrin's history, Perrin's amazing. She's done a lot of great things. She's helped a book become a #1 bestseller, and the author went on to become, well, quite well known and quite well off, living in America. And Perrin did that. She said to me one day, if I'd only got a product, I could do that again. And I thought, well, now we've got a product, we could do photography. I know she can do it again. And
No pressure there, Perrin.
No. And I was thinking that at the time. It was lovely because we'd been quite tied down caring for my dad. So when Lincoln launched they said, right, we're going to launch this photography business. It came actually 3 days after my dad passed away, didn't it, when we actually did it.
I took full advantage.
Weak moment, yeah.
But his reason for doing it was because he said, I knew you needed something to focus on. I know that you get really excited about life and creating opportunities, and we just hadn't been able to do that caring for my dad for such a long time. You know, we'd kind of, our lives had got smaller, hadn't they, and more focused. So coming out to do that was really exciting. We had pretty much first year was just still having a foot in each camp, still contracting and building up the business. So it was an easy way in, wasn't it? It was just really exciting to have something of our own that we could say, right, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? And to tell you, we had no idea. And I think we built a website and we sat there and we thought they will come. They did not.
You didn't even have a little idea, did we?
No, not at all. No. And then somebody mentioned networking, and that was the beginning of it all, really, as you guys know. Absolutely know the importance of networking. And
so once you got over the shock of the Tesco car park saying, why don't we do? What were your initial thoughts? What were your sort of gut reaction? What?
I think panic, because we'd been contractors, so we just had to find one job to last 6 months, 6 weeks, a year, or whatever. Now we had to find, in my mind, it was we have to find a new client every day, or 2 new clients every day, and that really scared me. How do we do that? But then excitement, because we were going to do something that we absolutely loved, but it was going to be our lives, and we always wanted to do that. I'd always wanted to do that, And it's really weird, because we had a similar story of being kids coming out of school. We used to have to choose your subjects about third year or something. And I desperately wanted to do history, and because I love history and geography and art. And I was encouraged by my parents it's better if you go down the route where the job's more secure. So it's better to go down admin secretarial. And that was kind of mid-70s.
And I was exactly the same.
Late 70s, you were the same, weren't you?
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I like drawing. I'd like to do something with comic world, and I'm a musician. I play the guitar. I'm not too bad at this. And they went, oh, great, let's get you a job in a shop.
So we both had that experience. And I went to college just for a year after school just to do more secretarial stuff. And in the corner used to be all the cool photography people. And I used to sit there in this massive hall at break time looking at them thinking, I feel I should be there. So it was a long time before we got together. And I would think I was 51 when we set up a business. Used to be. And then you'd have been a couple of years older than me. So
all right.
It's the same here, mate. I know it's like, Lincoln. I know it's like, yeah.
And you're here.
And that's the end of it.
No, thank you very much. That keeps me going very well. So
it sounds like you've both got a similar vision for the business. Is there any times when you don't agree on things?
There are times when we don't agree on things. It's not so much now. I think in the early days when we didn't know what we were doing, and really neither of us had the answer. So and again, networking. You were able to meet people and ask their advice, and that was the best thing about coming into business, apart from doing what we love, working with our clients, is meeting business owners that are just our friends and that are so generous and helpful, and we all just support one another, and that we never saw. So if we were having, we couldn't find a way through, then we would just ask somebody or ask for their advice, and then we could find a way through. But generally, if it's to do with numbers, then I'll follow Lincoln's lead. And if it's to do with kind of networking and writing and whatever, then we follow my lead, don't we? That's kind of the best way to do it, really. And in life, I have this little saying, in life, you can't always win. You can't always have it your own way. And then a lot of the times when you do let it go and let somebody else have their own way, you sit back and go, yeah, that was probably the best way to do it, really.
I think so. And there are quite a lot of things that are not wrong, they're just different. Like putting a toilet roll on. You put it on with the flap at the front or the flap at the back. It doesn't really matter, it's just different.
Or not put it on at all.
There you go again.
That's another option. So it sounds like you really gel together in that your roles are fairly focused individually, but together it seems to work quite well, that you've sort of adapted to what you specialise in, if you like, or what you're good at, which is nice, isn't it? Which is good.
Yeah. Personally as well, I think, there's a difference between being, your couple at home and a couple at work. You can't take other people's thoughts about what you've just done personally because you wouldn't at work, and I think that's really important, that you can't have that kind of relationship really at work. You have to be open to somebody looking at your stuff and saying, if I write an article, Lincoln will always read it because I want him to. He'll read and say, that's not quite right, or you could put that in there, and yeah, that's brilliant. And you have to be like that, and vice versa. If you're writing something, then I'll check it over, or if he's doing something with numbers, I'll say, just check this, I don't need to, because he knows we haven't got it for numbers. But it's just that kind of thing that, just having that relationship, not taking stuff personally.
Yeah. So have you found that being in business has strengthened or changed your personal relationship? So how?
Yeah, I think it has, because, well, take for instance, like Lincoln, if he's sitting here, Lincoln's the quieter one out of the two of us. And if he's sitting here reading a book, he can't cope with me asking, 20 questions or something about something I'm reading. And I noticed that's just, I didn't notice that when we lived together. I'd just be jabbering along, interrupted, trying to concentrate on something. And when we were working together, he had to say to me, look, I can only focus on one thing at a time. So if I'm doing this quote, my head's in the quote, I don't need to know what's coming in on email straight away. I just get really excited. And so can we not discuss that afterwards? And I go, yeah, of course we can. Yes. And then I could see how he worked. I'm very, running around everything while I'm working. Lincoln's very focused on one thing at a time. I think
it's down to the multitasking thing. I absolutely cannot multitask. It's got to be one thing. And then the next, and then the next. If I get taken off one thing to do something else, it takes me a minute to readjust my thinking and get back onto the next thing. And then
I'm exactly the same. I can't. You're all over the place sometimes, telling me this and telling me that. I'm thinking, I'm not hearing any of this because I'm trying to do this here. So I know where you're coming from. You just don't hear it, do you? It's just noise. And think,
noise. I'm just noise.
Don't put Neil Diamond. You're a beautiful noise.
I think it has strengthened our relationship, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's helped us to communicate both ways. And
yeah, it has, and that's that's kind of another thing, isn't it?
Because we had a relationship and we worked through all the intricacies of that, and then we had a business and had to work through the intricacies of that.
Yeah.
And then work through the intricacies of marrying the two together. So we've had some interesting times.
Yeah. Really nice way of looking at it.
So was it a great decision then, guys, would you say, to start doing it, taking the leap of faith and getting into business together and just going with it, basically? Yeah,
definitely. I think looking back, we would have done it differently and made it a little bit easier on ourselves. And I would have had a business coach. Yeah. Definitely would have had a marketing coach of some kind. We would have set our stall out differently, learnt more about the business and the business side of it.
Yeah.
So I think that
hindsight's a wonderful thing,
absolutely.
isn't it?
It's that hindsight that's the knowledge, isn't it? If we had that to start with, it had been started in year 3, year 4.
Yeah.
What's your sort of vision for the future then? Where you taking? How far do you want to go with Roth Read Photography? Do you want to be global? What is your ambition for it?
Well,
is it?
As far as Roth Read, we're not planning on being Richard Branson. We'd quite happily continue to be just ours and relatively small, but we want to do more and bigger and better and exciting and creative things for people that would appreciate it and that it would help, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right, really. I think it, you have businesses and famous people, and they have all these fabulous photographs of themselves, or they spend millions on their advertising and have these great images. Well, we would like to do that for everyone, really, and make that accessible, because we love doing that, and we love spending time with people and hearing their stories, and then getting those stories, and then sitting down and saying, okay, how are we going to create images out of this?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of your photography, and it is really creative. It's not just run-of-the-mill headshots and, you know, boring poses with people sat at a computer. It's this.
Yeah, you do feel like you're telling the story. When we've looked at your stuff, it's as though you are telling the story, which I think is what it's all about.
To relate it to ways that people might understand, I mean, we've heard absolutely no end of bad wedding photographer stories, blurred pictures, they didn't get the bride, they didn't get this, they didn't do that, the pictures were terrible, and all that, and it's heartbreaking. And for us, we don't want that for businesses when they get snapshots of the products and snapshots of the staff and snapshots of the bands. We want them to have things that they're proud of and that they show everywhere, that we can be proud of because they're using it.
Yeah, things they haven't thought of.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes it's like when the business tells their story, to them it's quite boring. But to you listening to it, it's really interesting. And there's things that pop out that they've maybe told that, 20 times, or 200 times. And they're used to saying it and it's lost its magic, or they never realised the magic was there in the first place. But for us, it's like picking out those stories, isn't it? And they may think that they just have a really boring factory or manufacturing building or something. But to us, that's really exciting because we can light that up and put them in it and just create something that's really going to stand out. So
even something like a mortgage advisor. What pictures can you take of a mortgage advisor who works at home and doesn't have an office really? And it's like, well, who have you sold a mortgage to? What does their house look like? Let's go take a picture of you and them outside the house. That's what you've created. That's what you've done for them. That's made their lives happy.
Yeah.
That's the story, isn't it? You told the story there, haven't you, through pictures? So what do you guys? Do you find a bit like we do? Are you talking about the business all the time, like we are? Do you switch off? I mean, do you say, right, 5 o'clock on a Friday, we're not going to discuss anything about the business. It's just the weekend.
It's been that process of learning how to work through the intricacies of the work and personal life. So there has been a lot of talk about business and a lot of talk about emails that have just come in, that we've found out how to broach that subject and when to bring it in and when to talk about emails and what kind of emails to talk about and does it matter. And then we're sick of the business and it's a horrible day. We're going to go out for a walk, but we're not going to take our cameras because we don't even want to look at our cameras. But that's what we love to do. So it's been hard to say, well, look, this is actually what we love to do, and taking a picture isn't related to the business. It's just something business gets money from.
Yeah.
So we've had to find out our love for photography again and go out doing things for ourselves.
That's true.
And talk about things with passion again, as opposed to, it's a drain. We've got to do this again, we've got to do that.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible because of listeners like you. So thank you. We really do appreciate your support. Now, back to the show.
This hasn't worked and that hasn't worked and it's costing more money. And
that's true. And I think for me, I get most of my ideas come when I'm either under the shower or it's just as I'm just lulling to sleep. So maybe now that hasn't put up with it. Lincoln, are you awake?
I am now, yes.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Are you asleep? Well, I was.
So he's just settled down to his breakfast in the morning and the door bangs out. I've just had this idea under the shower.
Which I've come to realise is Perrin's way of saying good morning, darling.
One of our best ideas for the group was because I was sat watching, we were sat watching telly, weren't we? I was bored and he had to find me something to do. What about this? And it just went from there and it was like, okay. Yeah. And I got so into doing what we were doing.
I was quite happy watching the telly, Lincoln, and then Tim said, I'm bored. I think, you all right? Okay, then I had to find something to occupy your time.
Yeah, and it was one of our better ideas.
Yeah, it was a good idea as it turned out.
The rule of thumb is if it's exciting, then we can talk about it after work. But if it's about wondering if so-and-so is going to reply to this email or whatever, or if it's something urgent that's happening the next morning, then we discuss it. But everything else we can now let go. But the hardest thing is that in the early days, we invested a lot of money in the business. And as you know, businesses take a long time to get going, and there was a lot of panic about waiting for money to come in. And I think that probably was tough. Really worried about it. I think you're probably less so.
Yeah, because I've never had money, so the fact that there's no money coming in. It's to say, love,
Yeah, I was panicking because we'd invested out the money that we'd got, the money we'd earned from networking, and the money that we'd contracting, and obviously the money that we'd been left as well from my so it was a bit.
And that's the scary thing when you first start. If you start seeing your funds disappearing and nothing happening.
That was that for us, I think,
it's a worry, isn't it?
Was the most. That was a lot of panic and a lot of middle of the night sitting up in bed going, what are we doing?
It's holding your nerve, isn't it?
Absolutely, which was good because I could support Perrin and console her and tell her everything's going to be okay because I didn't care. But then Perrin would say, "You just don't care." So, I do, but I'm not emotionally involved as you are. So kind of stuck, but we got through it.
Fine, we did. We did get through it. Yeah, it's just there was a bit of panicking going on. And also, we talk about photography outside work, obviously. So we watch videos, we do workshops. We're always learning about photography. That never stops. There's always new things to learn. Again, we're different in that Lincoln can learn things really easily from videos. So he'll sit and watch those. I have to be shown. And we're just different ways of learning. So I can't sit and watch 3 hours worth of videos, but Lincoln can. And then we just sit down and then he'll teach me stuff and what he's learned. And we go on workshops together, which we enjoy doing. We belong the Master Photographer Association, which is a qualifying process. So, we're always working with them and to get qualified and they put on workshops and you meet every month, don't we? We used to meet before lockdown. And so that's all as much part of our lives. That's exciting to go to the NPA events and with speakers and talk to other photographers. That's date night.
How we miss those, eh? How we miss those.
Date night now is a podcast. Thank you very much.
Oh, you've come up in the way.
Yeah. You've made it.
I did that. So there's we go out with our cameras. If we go on holiday, we have smaller cameras. We have little Olympuses. We always take those with us. So we enjoy taking photographs on holiday as well. Yeah. So that's still that side of it, that creative side, and the love of photography is still there. Lincoln, as you probably know, is a bass player too. So when he's out and he's on stage, you've always got rehearsals and practicing at home, haven't you? And then performing, and I go along and I take my camera. So that's always
right.
So I can take pictures of you and the band, can't I? And that's good. And I love doing things like as well, walking in history. So Lincoln will bring his camera so he doesn't get too bored as I'm running around touching stuff, going, oops, so is this like, oh, look at this. So it works out really well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and all mixed together. But cameras are always with us, aren't they?
Yeah.
Don't go far.
I can imagine. I don't suppose you can be without one, really, can you? They'll be like glue to you. You don't want to miss an opportunity of a great shot. I don't suppose. And you just never know when they're going to appear.
It's the glue that combines all our individual loves of different social events and activities. I can go walking and look at. It's just trees and grass. Why are we going for a walk? But I can get the camera and suddenly trees and grass are interesting.
Yeah.
It's true. This bind us together.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Excellent.
So what would you say was the best thing about being in business together?
Being our own people, being able to do what we want when we want. I absolutely love that. Yeah. I love that our lives just all becomes one now, and I really, really love that. And when we're in normal circumstances, if we've been working over the weekend, just on a Wednesday, just say, shall we go out for the day and let's go for pictures, and it's quiet. Everybody else is at work. So I love the fact that it's, what's the word I want when you just never know what's going to happen? Spontaneous. There's I just love the spontaneity of our lives. That's good.
It gives you that freedom, doesn't it, and that flexibility to just fit it into what you want from the business at the end of the day. It's your business.
It is, and for me, having the business together, it's something else that we can build together that's for our future. It's something else we can work on together that brings us together, as opposed to having two separate jobs. Home, see each other, watch TV, talk about our different jobs, and it's meaningless. We now talk about our jobs and and have ideas and bring that forward. So every aspect of life is together and building it up into the future.
It's a good feeling, that, isn't it?
It's pretty much like you described. Obviously, we're pretty much the same, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
We sort of.
But you just want it to be better and better all the time, and it does get better and better the more you work towards all your little goals and things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big crier. I've shed tears when I've had a job because I've got to go to work on Monday morning. So I don't want to go to work. Now I've shed so many tears of happiness and joy because people love the pictures and they get emotional. They tell me the stories and I get emotional and I have to go make peace so I don't embarrass myself in front of a new client. And it's just so nice.
Yeah.
I just love it. And when my dad had his own company business years ago, he used to say, it's a dog-eat-dog world and you can't trust nobody and blah, blah, blah. And I haven't found that at all. I've just found, it's just so nice. I can't describe any other way. It's just so bloody nice.
I mean, what would you for couples out there thinking of starting business together, married or whatever, you know what I mean? What would you suggest to them? What would you say to them if you met a couple and said, we're thinking of starting our own business, of going into business together, what would you say?
Tip or advice have you got for them?
What would you say to them?
Don't do it.
Keep your job.
Do it.
No, definitely, before anything else, get a coach. Get a business coach and get a marketing coach so that you do, unless you know all that stuff already. If you know all that stuff, then great, then that's fine. But for us, I think that was a really good starting point, wasn't it? That I think that would have really helped us.
I think people need to realise that we're photographers and the photography aspect of the business, the pressing the shutter, is probably less than 5% of what we do. I mean, during lockdown, people said, "Oh, you must be struggling." Well, we are struggling, but we've absolutely not stopped. We haven't taken any pictures. We haven't done that press of the button. We've been so busy with everything else. Because the clicking of the button is such a small part of what we do when you're a business owner.
I think that comes as a shock to quite a lot of business people, don't they? When they have something that they love and that work that sits around it. I'd definitely decide how you're going to work together. The business is going to evolve and it's going to change. I mean, when we look at the business when we started, I found an old to-do list the other week from about 3 years ago, and it's just, we're a completely different business now. When you set up, play to your strengths and work out who's going to do what. And if there is a gap, then fill it. Make sure you have somebody in there that's going to fill that. But it will evolve and it will change, and to be prepared for that, I think, because ours has certainly changed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And where we started, as I'm sure it is with you two as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It has.
Definitely.
Yeah, ours has changed.
Yeah. So do that, play to your strengths, listen to one another. Everything's not an argument. It's okay to just sit and listen and figure it out together. This is a different kind of relationship to being at home.
Yeah.
It's not about trying to get one over on each other, is it? Yeah. Or, it's not personal. It's like people say, it's not personal, it's business. So, just really listen to one another because, we all have experiences and just play to your strengths. Yeah. Really.
It sounds like you've got a fantastic business. And, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, how would they go about doing that?
Well, they can either give me a ring on 0770 413 9037 and just talk direct. It's much easier and quicker. Yeah. Or you can send an email to contact@rothreadphotography.com.
Right.
Yeah, lovely. And your website is?
rothreadphotography.com.
Thank you for that, guys.
It
was really fantastic. I really enjoyed that conversation. Really nice to find out about you guys.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
All right. Yeah. Well, you take care.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.
Okay. Take care. Good to meet you guys properly. Cheers. Bye. Well, we're almost at the end of this week's episode. But before we go, we're excited to tell you about our bonus episode this Friday on the Friday Fix, where we'll be discussing a business-related subject with a fellow business owner who'll be sharing their advice, thoughts or knowledge on a particular topic.
This week's episode is called Untangling the Spaghetti in Your Head with Brenda Etchells of Cardoose Limited, so tune in to find out more. And our special guests on next week's podcast are mother and son duo Sharon and Declan of The Digital Gene, and we're really looking forward to speaking to them and digging deeper into their experiences as a business couple. Thanks so much for joining us this week on In Business Talks 2. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, all we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. We'd really appreciate it.
Until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together
we are in business.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.